Hello everyone, welcome back to Ethaniel's Archives. I'm Ethan, and before I begin with today, probably should explain where I've been. I just haven't really, I've been trying, there's been a couple times when I've tried to record a video, but I keep running into a problem. I'll have to figure out what's the problem with my Oculus recording. But as for now, I'm not doing an Oculus video, as y'all could probably see. And no, this is not another reading of Ted the Caver, as you'll probably be able to tell by the title. This is actually a review I've been wanting to do for a while, but just haven't found the time. So, welcome back to Ethaniel's Archives. I'm Ethan, and we will be reviewing Dead Space 2. Now, I did a review of the previous game a while back ago, the original Dead Space, and if y'all remember, I actually really liked that game. So, I was really excited to, whenever I finally got this, to actually play it, and all that. So before we begin, thank you guys for watching, and as always, we'll begin with a general overview of what the game's about. Also, here's the cover of here's the back. I also got this from Game Exchange, but there's the disc, all that stuff. But I got this from Game Exchange also, but it doesn't have the Game Exchange case. And then also let me know in the comments any other games y'all want me to review. I've got a bunch of them. I could probably actually show a collection of the games I have for a video eventually, but let's begin. So Dead Space 2 is the sequel to Dead Space. When did this come out again? Dead Space 2 came out in 2011, roughly. Let me do the math. 5 years. No, 3. Goodness, my math's not the best. 3 years after the first Dead Space game. And this is published by EA, made by Visceral Games Studios. And in it, you play as Isaac Clarke again. After the Ishimura incident, you are on the Titan Station, which is, I think, on one of the moons of Saturn. I could be wrong. But you are checked into a mental asylum in the Titan Station. Soon you find out, though, that many of the problems that were happening on the Ishimura have started happening on the Titan Station. And necromorphs have basically started showing up on Titan Station. And you have to fight your way through, and you encounter allies and enemies alike, and all that. Whatever, you'll probably already know. This is an old game. For my review, I actually think this game did a lot better than the original one. Don't get me wrong, the original one's great, but this one took a lot of the stuff that the original one did well and improved upon it. Much like how Bioshock 2 improved on the original one. The combat in this feels a lot smoother. The zero-G sections, and a lot of the weapons feel like they fit. What else? The suits actually have benefits, and you can actually change which suit you're wearing. And yeah, it's not just like, oh, now that I'm New Game Plus, I gotta keep playing with I think it was the level 6 military suit, which I love the design of that, don't get me wrong. But each design of these suits, except for a couple that I'll mention, I really like the designs, and even those couple that I'll mention, like, they have good parts. Just general what the main part of it is just, I don't like how it was designed. necromorph variants are more terrifying in this game. And it is, I feel like, a lot more brutal and a little harder than the first game. But again, hard doesn't mean bad. As you'll probably figure out about my opinions on other games soon. Where else was I going with this? Sorry, my brain's everywhere right now. The fact that they gave Isaac a voice in this one, I really like that. It gives him more character. I get the first game, he was supposed to be a self-insert character, which works for a lot of characters, but with a lot of these, but some characters I feel like they do better if they have a voice actor and have their own personality. Now Isaac Clarke, I feel like, is one of those, because yeah, I understand the whole self-insert part, but I'm 18. I'm not going to went through the same stuff as Isaac Clarke, so it's going to be harder for me to insert myself into those situations. So yeah, some complaints I have. There's a lot more of like quick time events stuff I'm not a huge fan of, but then again, it's like they're not awful. Okay? And it's mainly just the fact that I'm not the best video game player, again, which is why I'm not really one to judge difficulty. I absolutely stink at video games, as y'all could probably tell from my last few gameplay videos. Where was one? So, what's another? Oh yeah, the suit designs I do not like. I don't like I think it's the antique suit. It looks ugly. I don't like it. There's a lot of confusion towards the end, I will say. Just how, like, things are supposed to have played out. Kind of just leaves you on that note, which I feel like they could have fleshed that out a bit more, but otherwise, it's good. I like it. Some necromorph designs I could mention that I really liked. The Stalkers, I really liked their design. It felt unique. The Ubermorph, I also really liked that design. It definitely was a change from the previous game's regenerator, where it was very similar to the standard slashers, but also like bulkier and bigger, like bulkier and more intimidating to where it stands out. But the Ubermorph has its own design, which I really like. Strauss as a character I have complicated opinions about that. Number one, just I get the whole idea of like, oh, he's always been insane, but he starts off, when you first meet him, he's sane enough to remember you and that stuff. I feel like if you really want an insane person, you would have at least given him hints that he was losing it, because for most of the game you could just toss it out as just the marker's influence. So yeah, but then again, these are like minor complaints compared to how well the game is. A lot of the weapons I don't really like to use, but that was the same with Dead Space 1. I never used the force gun, and I also never used I used the pulse rifle. What was it, the other? Did I say force gun? No, I used the force gun. It was the contact beam that I didn't use. And they added more guns in this game that I also never use. surprisingly, like whenever I first played through the first Dead Space game, I used the Ripper a lot. I barely used the Ripper this time around, which I probably should have changed that around because I did like the Ripper in the first game. Yeah, it was very situational, but the situation it was used in, you would be put in that situation a lot, so it was very helpful. And again, most of the guns in the game are situational. The only one that's like a jack of all trades is the plasma cutter, which again, plasma cutter in this game feels great. I do wish that the CEC plasma cutter that you get for playing Dead Space 1 did have different, just had different feels and different benefits and drawbacks than the basic plasma cutter, but I understand it's really just a reskin, so yeah, it's just wish that they could have went with something like that. The detonator kind of, it has its uses, but I don't really like it because I always ended up having too many detonator mines and not having enough of any other weapons, ammo. Javelin gun never has any good uses. I'm sorry for those who really like the javelin gun, but you can literally have, using your kinesis, you do exactly what the javelin gun does, just on a different scale. I'm sorry, but there's no point. I do like the hacking mechanic. It definitely, it's not like BioShock 1's hacking to where it's tedious, but it's also unnecessarily tedious. But it's also not so easy that it's oh, what's the point? It's fun enough to where it's okay, yeah, that makes sense. I do need to hack this and get that. Other enemies designs do I like? The tripods are a pretty fun enemy design. I don't like the exploding things. Not the ones with the exploding arm. The little ones, like the children. They're really just boring designs. Just oh yeah, regular human baby with the torso replaced by exploding sack. Come on, they could be more creative. And also the implications of just dead children. I can see why people wouldn't like it. Me personally, I mean, I know it's a video game, so it's it's not like they're supporting dead children. It's more just they had to have an enemy similar to that, just a new enemy, and they went with that. And it's not like something Dead Space 1 hasn't already done with I forgot what those things are called. There's a lot of, I don't know what any of them are called. I literally use my own names for them. I'm not even sure the tripods are called tripods. I just call them that because 3 arms. I was expecting, I don't know, there was a lot more conflict with other humans, so I was expecting a little more scenes where you would be fighting other humans. I think there was only one time, but even then it was very situational. And again, I wouldn't really fight. I usually try avoiding fighting humans in games like that, just because of the fact that ammo is limited and that humans have guns, so I can't just, so yeah. Sorry, my brain's everywhere right now. What's something else I could mention? Flame. Oh yeah, the Seeker rifle. That gun stinks. Let's face it. Why do we need that? We don't, like, no enemy is far enough for where it's like really, and even if they are, it's like they're running towards you. It's not like a good enough weapon to justify using it due to the fact that the game's about acting fast, not lining up shots, I'd say. I wish stasis lasted longer. It lasts, like, it barely gives you any time at all whenever you use it, and I kept dying in, like, times when I would have to, like, stasis something then run, because I did not have enough time. So there's that. But yeah, all in all, I'd say this game's better than Dead Space 1, and Dead Space 1 was great. I don't know quite where it would rank up on my top 10 list, because I've actually, thinking back about it, I'd actually like to redo that, just because I've played more games now, meaning that I've started liking different games. Like, I know for sure Assassin's Creed would not be on there, because I feel like that game, while yes, it's fun, it just doesn't, it didn't stand out enough for me. And then Doom 64 wouldn't be on there just because it's pretty outdated, and that was literally just put that in to fill up space. But yeah, let me know if y'all have any suggestions, and put them in the comments. But as always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button or the subscribe button, and I'll see y'all in the next video.